All right. Hey guys, it is another Saturday here at the workshop, and I am your Saturday host, Alisha Rayne, and I'm joined by Jester. He's out of Ontario, and then Chris, a returning participant. He's out of Las Vegas, and we're going to have some really good material for you tonight.
Hey, don't say that.
Don't keep their standards too high. Keep them low and then surprise them. Is that?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So the first round, I'll just go over it. The first round is a subject that we were given ahead of time, and that can be 3 to 5 minutes, somewhere in there. If you have less than that, I don't blame you. So then each of us does our topic, and then we give some feedback. And then the round two, we do our own comedy that we're working on that we need some feedback on, and then we will give some feedback on that comedy. And then we'll also take comments from Facebookers. We'll see what they have to say. There's a link where you just click on the link and say, hey, yes, show my name. So yeah. All right. So we're going to get started. And then just a reminder, like just in the chat, like we don't need to, just don't be a dick in the chat, in the comments, because I'm not going to say it out loud because they're sticky comments. Okay, so I am going to go ahead with my stuff. My subject was personalities. And so I've got a lot of stuff. I kind of was like, oh, should I go for TV personalities or more like multiple personalities, borderline personality disorder, things like that. So that's kind of what I was going for. And so, yeah, so I feel like, there's white privilege, but then I also feel like there's happy privilege. So this is my impersonation of happy privilege. Aww. That is the sound that people make at sad cat videos. And people will make that sound at somebody who's telling a story about their life. They're like, and that's when I moved back home or whatever. Aww. I feel like that person has never really experienced pain. And maybe just keep those ahs to yourself. That's very rough. So, yep. Amy Schumer, she's a comedian. She's really trying to advocate for like taking the stigma out of autism, out of like the spectrum, autistic behaviors, things like that. I would say the way to do that would be to don't use the word autistic anymore, because during recess, it was third in line to tard and faggot. Yeah. I think if you take that away, the stigma will go away. So we will keep on working on that one. A lot of times, people, they'll kind of like try to one up each other with, oh, I got so drunk that I blacked out for 3 days and then I ended up in Vegas, or, I woke up in a dumpster, all this stuff. And for me, I don't remember the first 3 months of 2004. So I think I got you beat. Yeah. Let's see what else I got here. Let me see. Yeah, so I feel like you got a lot of people on Twitter who are like, whatever, libtard, or on the other side you have the social justice warriors who are like, you can't say that And to me, they're kind of like the same person where it's somebody I don't want to talk to at a party. So realize about yourself. Let's see. I feel like the poster boy for MAGA is actually Tyler Durden. You know, and it's just like anybody who uses the word snowflake, you know, my response is queer. Because when I feel like like the reference to that movie is a very homoerotic movie. And so I feel like there's a lot of oppressed sexuality from the people who use that term. So I feel kind of bad for you. I don't know. These are all very, very rough, but I feel like there's some thing there. I think that's all I have. I think it might have been a little borderline. I don't know. But if anyone has any response, call me a libtard. I don't know. I'm willing to listen.
What's the film Snowflake? Genuinely, that went over my head. Is that
Snowflake is a reference to Fight Club when he's like, oh, you know, everyone thinks that they are a unique snowflake.
Right. Okay.
And so that's why maybe I need to clarify that up.
I could have used a lesson on what it was. Otherwise, didn't get it. I just heard homoerotic movie MAGA snowflake, and I was like, there is a prime opportunity to bring up Mike Pence here.
For sure. I'm gonna definitely use that. I feel so uncomfortable in certain areas where I'm like, you know, is this gonna offend people? You know, but I thought it was funny, so I don't know. Bringing up the Mike Pence, that sounds like a great idea. Any other feedback?
It felt like a lot of ideas, but I think I didn't really hear a lot of punchlines though. Like I couldn't tell if it was like jokes. Like it felt like it was kind of just like, you know, a lot of ideas and stuff. Like you're kind of getting around it and stuff. Like, but like, you know, I mean, I think the closest one was the Tyler Durden one specifically. I think that was like the closest one specifically about like the you know, the stuff that he said and stuff with Fight Club. Which, by the way, that's still a great movie though. You know, it's
I don't not think it's a great movie. I do think I am correct though.
I pretended to be very impressed when I pretended to watch it in film school.
Yeah. I pretended to be very impressed by what's that one? It doesn't matter. I'll think of it later. All right. Well, that was my very rough attempt at some jokes. I'm going to go ahead and move on to Jester, see what he's got for us. Laser pointers, correct?
Yeah. I got assigned laser pointers at the 11th hour. I just signed on to do this yesterday, but I have a laser pointer, if not laser pointer jokes. So base off. Okay, let's start early research. Let's do dictionary.com. A laser beam is made out of light of a single color going in a single direction. It does not have any substance, just like Trump's lawsuits to overturn the election. There are several things that a laser is not. A laser is not a sword. A laser, heck, in Star Wars, a laser is not even a laser. According to canon, a Star Wars laser is actually a slow-moving bolt of plasma. But also according to Star Wars, the genre of the music that they're playing in the cantina is called jizz, so we're not going to get too stuck up on the Star Wars. Besides, that's very old news, and it's very, very far away news. But speaking of plucky rebels trying to overthrow the empire with lasers, Hong Kong. Police in Hong Kong have deemed laser pointers an offensive weapon. Individuals there who are protesting are using the laser pointers to damage the sensors in cameras and damage the sensors in the eye sockets of the police. And now police in Portland have also followed suit. Now, police in Portland have been told to be on the lookout for individuals carrying laser pointers, Tupperware, and cans of tuna fish. Laser pointers, for the reason I mentioned. Tupperware is actually to diffuse the gas canisters, and the tuna fish, according to Donald Trump, you can put a real spin on one of those motherfuckers. So essentially, this policy has turned bullying a nerd for his lunch on the way to his presentation into actual policing policy. Get that Tupperware out, get the laser points, get the tuna fish. It's gone. And also, thanks to Joe Biden's civil forfeiture policy, these policies also allow the police to steal the people's lunch money as well. Honestly, when I found out I was assigned laser pointers, I had a cat, and I wanted to have more cat material, but I don't have a cat anymore, and I had a boring cat. And I figured there's only so many past tense stories about my boring cat that I can tell before people just get sad. And I think that's a joke, but it's not a joke. It's just a joke about not having a joke. And that's also the end of my set.
All right. Well, there's some good stuff there. I liked it. Like the nerd it's now like being a bully is now turned into policing. I thought there was some good stuff there. I feel like there could be like a mention of a hall monitor, some sort of other school reference, not having a hall pass kind of thing. Maybe some other like police bullying. Bullies turn into police. Bullying is brutality.
Yeah. No, that's a very deep well. I kept pivoting to these tangential deep wells, but can anyone think of anything other laser pointer related things? I can't, because I couldn't. Man.
Yeah, I don't know. Like just physically.
Yeah, no, I guess it's a rife opportunity for physical comedy. I underplayed that.
I feel like the Star Wars, like there's like it's a slow moving plasma thing is the sword, and
yeah,
then,
that's
like,
actually what that is. That's the in canon explanation for why Star Wars lasers move like really slow when they shouldn't. Okay. They're lasers.
Well, you've got two in cannons, and I feel like there's opportunity for a third.
Oh.
So, like in canon and
in other laser canon.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
That's good. I could have missed. That's a low-hanging fruit I missed. I love puns.
Yep. Yep. A third thing, you can even kind of go outside of it. And in other non-canon news,
the one piece of this that I might actually keep for later is referring to Star Wars as old news and far, far away news.
Oh, there you go.
I liked that. I'm gonna use that. I'm holding on to that one.
The one joke that you're holding on to.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, Chris, you got any response?
I thought that the first opener was the best about the lawsuits. I thought that was the best kind of tagline.
All right.
Thank you. There was another Trump lawsuit dismissed by the Supreme Court today with the Texas wanting to overturn other states' elections. I don't know, just news break.
Yeah, I know that I remember the Trump one where it doesn't have any substance. I'm sure there's other political related stuff that doesn't have substance.
I'm sure there is. I keep shooting for the low hanging fruit for that Trump shit. I can't wait to have that word not be a part of my vocabulary. I don't want him to be every punchline.
Yeah. I hear you. You had a Biden punchline in there too. So
I did. I was bipartisan slamming. I also was talking about Hong Kong too. So that was
international. Yeah. I actually thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
I like fun facts. So, all right. Very cool. Is that it for response to gestures stuff?
God, I hope
so. Chris, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So my topic was burials. That was my topic.
Ooh.
Burials. And speaking of burials, I would definitely say that after the week I've had, like, I'd probably want to bury the set after I'm done with it. So, I'll just get that right out of the way. As a matter of fact, not just bury the set, I'd like to bury this entire year, 2020, as I'm sure probably a lot of people. It started off a lot like, most of the. It actually, this year essentially ran just like the stock market did. Started off really good and then just absolutely ate shit. And then basically, like, is still recovering. But the year itself is still eating shit pretty much until we get that damn vaccine out. I like how, like I'll agree. Like, I think we should just bury the Trump jokes just because, like, it's just annoying. Every punchline, is like, every punchline is Trump from, like, just so many people. I'm just like, I just want to bury it. It's like me. I've been trying to come up with more like, different, like, I've tried to come up with some Biden jokes and stuff just because because like Trump's too easy. It's just too easy to make those jokes and stuff that are like, coming out. Like, I know that, like, I don't know. I just want to bury the whole social distancing crap and everything because it just makes things go on so much longer. Like, for instance, did you guys vote early or did you vote in person?
I voted through the mail.
You voted through the mail?
Yeah.
I'm a Canadian citizen, so I actually voted through one of the mysterious dumps that Trump was talking about.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you this much. It was terrible because, like, for me, I voted in person just because I wait till the last minute for everything. If you can't tell by this set, like, so I decided to. So I pretty much showed up at, like, I showed up at the polls, and I'll just say this: because of social distancing, those lines were so long that they had to hire extra security to prevent Hunter Biden from trying to snort them. That's how long those lines were. But yeah, like speaking of burials, like, I do a lot of, like, I've pretty much buried, like, my previous, like, career and stuff just because, like, I gave up so much to pursue stand-up comedy, and then this year just, like, kind of destroyed it. I've been trying to find, like, everything I can to stay afloat. So I started stock trading, and of course I get all kinds of people that are like, always ask me, like, oh, what are some good stocks to get in right now? And I hate giving advice because I don't want them to blame me if it goes bad. So I just tell them, like, so I told them, I was like, oh, well, one I'm invested right now with SCI, and they're like, oh, Sci, like science, vaccine development and stuff. I'm like, no, Service Corporation International Funeral Services. That's what I told them, a big stock right now. And then, like, the guy actually told me, he's like, he actually got offended by that. He's like, what the fuck? He said my mom just passed away and stuff. I'm like, well, guess you found a good way to get your inheritance. In fact, actually, that's a bit of an exaggeration because, believe it or not, funeral service stocks are actually down right now. That's right. They actually have not been booming at all during this COVID thing because, due to this social distancing stuff, people do not want to go to public funerals and bury the dead. They just prefer to make them into ashes and just have them fend off from the family cat. So, like, and I'm like, the biggest disappointment for me about them having no more of these public burials is that now I don't have any, like, that was my go-to place if I ever wanted to find crying chicks to date, so that's why I just, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much like what I had for burials.
I got a Psy tag for you.
Yeah.
The stock for Psy is going whoop, 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 whoop.
I understand that one.
Oppa Gangnam Style. Hey, sexy
Oh,
lady.
yeah.
Up a Gangnam Style.
I actually did not think of
If
that.
you could do like you have to like go like the stocks are going. You have to do like go like up. You'd have to like do the dance for a minute.
Oh yeah, so
But
you
you
get
could
that. I'm not charismatic at all, so it'd be tough for me to pull that off. I could try it though.
yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I think putting like the doing worse than the stock market. This year, what's doing like putting the doing worse than the stock market, and then putting your like being a stock trader altogether. Like, how do I know that? Because I'm a stock trader, kind of thing. And then I feel like there's something with like speed dating at the funeral. That takes away a lot. Maybe there's a couple other social distancing things that takes away from your dating.
With the rate that deaths are occurring, picking up chicks at a funeral has become speed dating.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Or instead of like funeral crashing, like somehow like Zoom crashing, or like what is it, like a Zoom bomb or whatever? Like it would be like instead of a Zoom bomber, I'm like a Zoom crasher or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then that Hunter Biden line, that's getting good. Let's see.
I'm just gonna have to change all of my moving forward. I'm just gonna have to take all of my last few cocaine punchlines and swap out Don Jr. for Hunter Biden, and all of my material is still good.
Yeah. I'll say this. I'd be scared as shit having that dude running any department, but man, I would love to party with that dude. That's one thing I will say about Hunter Biden.
Which he's not running any department because the Biden administration isn't rife with nepotism, so no worries.
There you go.
I hope so, because that dude, I'm just like, some of those pictures, I was like, what the fuck?
He's not involved with the government. He's just a guy.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, there you go there. Like the thing about Trump's kids is that they're in the government, but you wouldn't want to be around them. And Biden's kids, they're not in the government, but they probably know how to party or something like that. Like you can make the comparison even there. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Some good stuff. Some stuff to work with. So
yeah,
I think we all had a few good zingers in there, and I think I have a lot of work to do. But that's all right. Is there any other response for this first round?
From a comedy rhetoric standpoint, you really, I feel like you're really getting the audience on your side by like getting everyone just agreeing, like, yeah, 2020 sucked. Like, just it's always good to just have have points during your set that just get everybody unified. And I think that's a really good pivot point, and I think that'll work well for you on stage.
Oh, definitely. In Vegas right now, they actually, because they had to cancel our New Year's celebration, which sucks because, like, we get so many people that come here for New Year's for, like, the big event. That's like my big Lyft and Uber day. You can make, like, $1,000 in one day doing Lyft and Uber because of the surge. And it's like, so this is what they're doing instead. They're having a virtual show where you can watch like a virtual thing in Vegas of them destroying a massive sign they are building that just says 2020, and they're just going to blow it up. That's what they're doing for New Year's in Vegas. They're just going to blow up a giant sign that says 2020. They're just going to blow.
Yep. Instead of the ball drop, it's going to be, I don't know, the year exploding. I feel like there's a joke there. I don't know what it is though.
There's definitely a joke there because that was the bit that John Oliver ended his final episode of the year with. He did that. He exploded a giant 2020 at the end of his comedy show.
Yeah.
He did that last year too.
No, he did it in 2016, which was previously our Zeitgeist record holder for the worst year collectively.
Right. Yeah. I was like, that sounds familiar, but I'll have to watch that episode.
Yeah. They rented out an entire quarry and built like a multiple story sized building. And then they were intent on doing it more. And so they asked the explosive experts, how do we do it bigger this time? And they said, more gasoline. And they did. And it's really good.
That's hilarious. They should have been hired for the Las Vegas show for sure.
They might have been.
All right, guys, are we ready for round 2?
Woohoo!
We're moving right along. 25 minutes. That's not bad. But we're going to go ahead and move on to round 2. I'm going to go ahead and just get us started here. So holidays are here. And that means it's the time of year where we celebrate the most famous zombie in the world. Yep, you know who I'm talking about. That's right, Elvis. It's a time of year where we celebrate Elvis. It's also the time of year where old men, mostly my grandfather and a random old homeless guy who used to bum cigarettes for me, where old men say things like, only 21 days until the fat man comes. And, we all know who that jolly old fat man is. Again, Elvis. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I don't like shopping at all. I'm not going to do any Christmas shopping because I don't like it. Because every shopping trip ends the same. Just me staring into the dressing room mirror while slow, sad tears fall down my face. The only time I want to be crying those kind of tears are in the last stall of the women's bathroom while at work. I want to get paid at least minimum wage for those tears. I don't like shopping, but I do like accessories. So I like shoes, I like bags, I love purses. And I was in line behind somebody who had this like gorgeous Coach purse. It was beautiful. And then all of a sudden out pops this little face, this little Chihuahua, Shih Tzu, piece of shit little face. And I was like, aw, why would you do that to that purse? Can you imagine what the inside of that looks like after a pooping, peeing machine has been in there all day? When I stole it, I was disgusted. It was gross. No idea what happened to that dog. That's true. I do a lot of driving, and so therefore I listen to the radio a lot. I love listening to the radio. Occasionally I will stop on conservative radio on accident, and I hate it. Not the politics aside, it's just like they're always yelling. Like I feel like conservative radio guys don't know how to whisper. They'll just be in the movie like, how are you liking the movie? Just shh. Shh. Yeah. But my favorite are the morning radio show guys. Like they, they're always kind of higher energy in a good way. But they always have fun names like Crazy Larry or Wacky Wally and Jennifer. And to me, it's just like, come on, man. Girls can be zany. Girls can be fun. So my ideal morning show would be The Geech, Funky Freddy, and Emily. So Yeah, I cannot listen to NPR radio though, because their voices are just so soothing. Next up on NPR radio, we're going to listen to 8 more hours of smooth jet. What? What happened? I'm driving. Oh my God. Yeah, boredom kills. But a friend of mine is like, hey, I like NPR. And I'm like, look, I get it. They're good at their jobs. But the video that you watched during driver's ed class, that one that's like blood on the highway, what they don't tell you is that the guy was listening to NPR radio right before he got in that accident. So I'm just saying, like, you know, be a cut above, but don't be so boring. Democrats, like, it's the same thing. Everyone's like so concerned with being correct. It's just like, can't you drag out a t-shirt cannon every once in a while? All right, guys, that is what I got. Yeah. So if anyone has any feedback, for sure.
The NPR joke wasn't good.
Okay.
It could be. It could be. It just seems like it came as like an attack out of nowhere. It didn't. The punchline didn't connect to the setup. Like, and I didn't. And it also seems regional. Like I don't like. It requires that you both specifically dislike NPR, that and that you went to your driver's ed class. There's a lot missing.
Okay.
All things considered.
Thank you. Yep. The blood on the highway is like an old reference, so maybe not have that reference. But yeah.
What is blood on the highway?
It was like the 80s driver's ed classes. Like, it's a trope from like 80s movies, and they'll always be like blood on the highway and after school special kind of stuff. So maybe it's a reference that I only get, and honestly, that's okay. I think it's hilarious. But yeah. Okay. All right. Any other feedback? Chris, you got any feedback?
Yeah, I agree with him. The NPR, like, I heard the setup and the punch, but I didn't really connect it as much. I'll second it on that. Sorry, okay. I'm a little out of it. I do apologize.
No problem. All right. Any other of the jokes though, or no other response? Okay, very good, you guys. We're going to go ahead and move on to Jester. Let's hear what you got.
I don't have anything, and but I just found out so I wanted to talk to Chris about something. So they're imploding the Las Vegas Convention Center. Is that what's happening?
No, it's just a giant sign that says 2020, and they're blowing it up
the convention center. Okay, no,
it is being hosted by the convention authority.
It is. I thought they were about to collapse like an adjunct building of the convention center, like as part of like it's. But I don't know.
I mean, they might as well. If people are going on Zoom now, they may have to. But So.
No, I just wanted to ask a follow-up question about that. I know that was lingering. Honestly, my intention for my next 3 minutes is I wanted to just do crowd work tests. So I just wanted y'all to throw topics at me real quick, and I'm just gonna riff as fast.
Oh, okay, we can do that.
Okay. I guess we'll start with Chris.
All right, Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda. Okay, so apparently his name is like Goobler or Goobrar. I kept calling him Goober. I think it's Grogu. But he's I knew that Grogu was getting himself into a whole literal and figurative kettle of fish when he started eating those frog eggs. I mean, we all go to Star Wars for escapism. There's no reason why Yoda has to be actively bringing up abortion. Next.
I don't know. There's like a bunch of Marvel movies coming out, like Loki and stuff.
Oh, okay. I'm excited about all of that. You cannot give me enough of that, and you cannot give me enough of the what if universe stuff. Like I don't have anything to specific to that. All I can do about that is just make happy like grunting noises and just go. I'm really excited. I don't even know how funny. Okay, so I'm super fucking excited that they're going to open up the multiverse. They've got like a Doctor Strange cameo in the upcoming Spider-Man, and they've cast like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and like little Spider Twerp kid. What's his name? Like Billy Elliot kid. They all three of them are in there, so that's going to be exciting. They got a version. Oh my god, they're doing a what if thing where like T'Challa gets picked up and becomes Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy. And I don't even have any jokes about this. I'm just excited. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm just really excited. Sorry. Your turn, Chris.
YouTube.
Oh my God. So my YouTube algorithm gets really, really messed up overnight. I watch things when I sleep. And I'll put on one, like I'll watch like a bunch of news before I sleep, and then one Fox News episode. And by morning, 8 hours of that shit, and and YouTube thinks I'm a goddamn Nazi. Next.
Universal healthcare.
I live in Canada where we do have universal healthcare, and it's working out pretty good. One of the things that this is just something I've been thinking about a lot. Everyone in Canada is doing pretty good with social distancing and following the policies, and I think it might be partially because we're literally all invested. So like if someone if someone like spreads COVID to a bunch of people, like we all have to pay a little bit of that check. And I think this isn't a joke, but I think that there's something to be said about effective socialized healthcare treating us all very good here, by the way. And they've been all just sending us like thousands of dollars. And I think by having everyone invested, I think it has an outcome where everyone is more invested in the results, and it has an impact where people just don't act like assholes. That's just something I've noticed.
All right. Observational comedy.
Yeah, no, it's not even comedy. I ran out of bits. I'm gonna call my bit. I've just been sharing my opinions on things, and I'm just gonna stop.
Okay. All right. Well, very cool. I'm gonna go ahead and just throw it over to Chris.
All right. Well, I actually have to have a minute and 30-second set written about joy. Like that's my subject. It's actually for like a Write 10 contest that I'm doing. Yeah, but it's definitely tough to find joy, especially this year. Like, in 2020. Like, especially because I've been waiting for like about 7 to 8 months for like the DETR program here to finally send me my PUA stuff. So I'm pretty much just like stuck until that happens. Like literally like when like there was like this girl on Facebook, and I see people asking the most random questions just because they're so bored on Facebook. They were asking like, oh, they're asking like, oh, how do you tell if a guy is ghosting you? I was like, that depends. Does he work for Nevada PUA? Basically, that's straight up like what I said in response to that. Yeah. So like me, I'm almost 30. I'm turning 30 next year. And I'm just like, I just do not have my life together. Like literally, like I'm laying here on a mattress that doesn't even have a sheet on it. It's like I just don't have shit together. So it's like literally, it was only when I got so drunk one time that I tripped headfirst into like my parents' new TV during the Super Bowl was the closest I ever came to getting my head in the game. That's literally like that's literally like just like how things have been kind of going. for me as of like I have been trying to do stock trading though. When I do stock trading, like that's like the only thing that gets my dopamine rushing. It's I feel kind of like stock trading for me is a lot like a wrestling match. I feel like I'm doing a wrestling match whenever I do stock trading because once the bell rings at some point during the day, I'm throwing a chair. That's basically how the stock trading thing rolls for me. I was terrible when I first started stock trading. I was so terrible that stock trading was essentially like most of the women that I dated. Once I was finished with them, then they would run. Run means they actually succeed instead of like that's what it means in stock. So it's like, yeah, that one. Like, I feel bad. I always want to tell stock trading jokes, but it's like I don't get some of the terms. So it's like they work so well in stock trading, but it's like it's such a niche, subject. It's so tough to. But yeah, I know this. It's weird, like when I don't have as much money and stuff, but like there's still Girl Scouts that like knock on your door and stuff. And, they knock on your door selling cookies and stuff. But of course, I told them that I didn't really have any. I was like that. I needed to cut back on my sugar because of like my depression and stuff. So I cut back. So basically, I told them that I wasn't gonna that I wouldn't be able to pay for that. I wasn't probably going to buy cookies, but I could tell they needed money. So I offered them money if they want to do some yard work. And I'll just say that now they're Sour Patch Kids, pretty much, just because of like all the hard labor they had to do. Now they're Sour Patch Kids. Yeah, I'm literally just like ripping shit off the top of my head, but it's like, oh my gosh, yeah. I know there's a lot of things that have been changing, and the year 2020. Like I, they're now at like all kinds of places are treating things like their drive-through movie theaters, like things that you have never thought of. Like for example, at a church that I used to that I go to and stuff, they're now literally doing sermons where you sit in your car and have to turn on the radio and stuff. Yeah, it's called Dashboard Confessional.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's one of my that's one of my more popular ones. And there's also been a lot of changes. There's actually this city in China. There's a city in China that officially banned the consumption of cats and dogs after the whole COVID thing. That's right. One city officially declared they're doing a ban on the consumption of cats and dogs. They'll now eat beyond cats and dogs.
I like that too.
Yeah, I know there's one thing like me. I know that I've got some kind of mental issues and stuff. I don't know like what it is. I always have people always think I'm autistic or something. And, I used to tell them, no, I don't think I'm autistic. I'm just from Florida. That's all. It's weird. When I grew up living in Florida, I was always just the good old boy, talk of the town. And as soon as you get out of Florida, you go places like California or New York where there's standards, then you're on the spectrum. That's literally how life works. And I think when it comes to I noticed one thing about a lot of the autistic kids is that I wouldn't mind if it wouldn't really bother me much if I was actually on the spectrum or whatever. The only thing that would worry me though is that I'd make autistic kids look bad. Because seriously, it's like they've got a reputation. They're either going to work in Silicon Valley, become some kind of superhero with their smart abilities or stuff. If you see me on stage attempting stand-up comedy, 50K in debt as a Lyft and Uber driver, if you're a parent watching me on stage, you're like, fuck me, I'll take the measles. That's pretty much that's my biggest fear when I'm up there about that. And I think I'll leave it like that because I think I'm probably before I run the light too much.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of meat on that bone of autistic people having weird superpowers.
Yeah.
I've known I've worked at places and some of the most autistic people would just perform miracles with spreadsheets.
Yeah.
And I mean that as a compliment. There's a deep well, and I think you could use by giving specific examples, and by treating that issue positively, by giving funny examples of things that people of autistic people doing well. I think you might be able to make a whole bit out of that, and it might help you walk that line. And
Yeah.
I think you were worried about that, and I think you're right to be worried about that. But I think it's doable. I think it's doable.
Yeah. What do
Yeah,
you think?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's some good stuff there, for sure. And then I feel like there could be some more stuff with the dating and the inside baseball stock stuff. I think if you just kind of maybe even dumb down the stock stuff, you would be able to have some more fodder there. So I think you can still like compare stocks in your dating life, but if you just make it a little, more layman, I think you'll have it. So
You're right. I did not get your joke about stock run, and I just got concerned. And then you explained the joke, which actually did make it funnier. I know that normally isn't how it's supposed to work, but I went, "Oh, that would have been funny if I had a." Okay, but yeah, you're right. No, it's like that's yeah. To the right crowd, that could kill.
Oh yeah, it has in trading groups. It kills all the time. So it's like, I realize that it's very tough to do. Like I don't even like my stock jokes. Just like unless some people that trade stocks, like they'll get the jokes, but like no one else will get those jokes. That's the thing about it, because it's like it's such like a niche area, basically. I mean,
I'm sure that if you the joke about blood on the highways would also kill if you were delivering to like the 1986 like such and such a driving school reunion like that. It would kill in that room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like you could do a lot of corporate gigs in the stock trading world for sure.
Yeah. There's got to be no shortage of stock bros on like vacay in Vegas, right?
Oh yeah, like I actually know most of them from just online everywhere. A lot of them visit Vegas just when they want to get marijuana. Like they usually visit Vegas specifically for that. But it's like most of the time, it's like, but yeah, like most of the time, I don't really hang out like the stock trading areas over in Vegas. I mostly just do it all online in my Discords. And man, have I seen some people have some great days, and I've seen some people have some absolutely horrible days on like the market and stuff. There'll be some days where I see people make thousands, then I'll see other people like one person like lose like 8K in like a minute and 30 seconds. I'll be like, Jesus, I'm like, what are you doing, dude? I'll be like, when I'm watching it, like me, I've never come close to losing anything like that, so I'm happy about that. But I just like see some guys, I'm like, well, you guys are out of your fucking mind, When I see them make some trades, I'm like, there's no fucking way this is gonna work.
Yo, what's the entertainment and event scene been like in Vegas this year? Like, what has that been like, honestly?
It's dead. Like, there's no show.
Is it dead or is it dead for Vegas?
For Vegas, there's no.
Okay.
No, I mean, there's like nothing. There's like no shows. Like half of them are canceled. There's like a few comedy clubs open now, but there's almost no open mics. Like no restaurants that will let people perform shows. And it's like there's like 2 mics I think total now, and we used to have more. But there's like like the clubs are like literally like they can't even perform on the main stage. They have to perform like a small stage with like the chair separate and stuff, so people can't like, because apparently if you stand on the main stage, like it's too close to people, like But if you stand on this little small stage that's like adjacent to it, you're okay, and you're totally safe. It makes
low ceilings are great for comedy and COVID-19.
Yeah. Oh, our governor said the best, like, and most knowledgeable thing recently. He literally said, he said, locals need to stay home for 2 weeks to cut down on the spread of COVID. He said, but tourists are welcome to come to the Strip because we need jobs. That's literally what he said. And I'm like, yeah, bro. I'm like, who do you think works at those casinos? I'm like, who do you think works at those casinos? Yeah. That's literally what the governor said. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, that makes no sense at all. Like, no one knows what they're doing here in Vegas. They have absolutely. yeah, he's like, oh, we got to reduce the restaurant stuff by 25% capacity. You need to make a reservation if you go anywhere to dine in, like McDonald's. Like, you have to make a reservation to go to McDonald's and sit down and dine in. It's like, what the hell is going on?
So, that's a lot of good stuff. And I just want to interrupt 1 second because a Facebook user wanted to put to Jester, random person here, holiday shopping in 2020, if you have anything to riff on that.
Oh, yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure that all of our Facebook folk are represented.
So in 2020 I've been doing a lot of my shopping on Amazon, and I just gotta point out it is like the fact that their primary tablet is called the Amazon Fire. I really think that's drawing attention away from the fact that the actual Amazon is on fire. I think that calling your product the Amazon Fire is something akin to calling your product the San Francisco earthquake or some other natural disaster, or like, the new Samsung Hurricane Katrina. I don't think it's a good marketing move, but they're doing pretty well with that. That's my take for holiday shopping.
Yep. If there was some product called Gender Reveal Forest Fire.
Oh yeah. Never. I mean, white people act like culture is something that colored people have, but then explain gender reveal parties to me. That's all. That's got white people written all over
it. Yep, that is for sure. All right, guys. Is there any other reviews of anybody? I just want to make sure that we get all the reviews out of the way. No? Okay. Well, sounds good. Well, I think that just about wraps up the show. Thank you guys so much. I'll leave the chat on a little bit after the broadcast ends, but thanks everybody at the workshop, and thank you, Jester, and thank you, Chris, for participating. It was a good, informative show. So I'm Alisha Rayne. Thanks, you guys.